Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. This is the time and the place for the regular board meeting of the Marshalltown Community School District. Welcome to those of you joining us here in person. Welcome as well to anybody who might be watching via the live stream. We'll do introductions before we get too much farther. We'll start with board members to my right, Zach Wall and Liz Wise. To my left, Karina Hernandez, Maria Morales, and Leah Stanley. Seated here at the center table with me to my right, Mr. Randy Denham, our board secretary. To my left, Dr. Theron Schutte, the superintendent of schools. And I am Sean Heitman. We've also got two of our student school board reps here to start the meeting this evening, Charlie Gilbertson and Legay Paw, so welcome to them as well. We've got a pink sign-up sheet there on the speaker's table for anybody who wants to address the board during public comment time. You will be given 5 minutes to speak. Iowa law prohibits the discussion of specific employees of the district or their job performance. And also in accordance with board policy, board members will not respond to comments so that we can comply with open meeting laws. With those things out of the way, would you all please join me in reading the mission statement of the Marshalltown Community School District? We develop learners who have the knowledge, skills, and positive mindset to successfully pursue a meaningful future through personalized learning experiences. And please stand as you're able and join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any changes to the agenda tonight?
Jackie, do you have any changes? No.
Okay. Then is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Stanley Hernandez, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Abby, you have some recognitions?
Yeah, she's coming up. I'll cover the National Principals Month. Annually this time of year, we recognize all of our principals on behalf of the school district and the district admin team. Our greatest gratitude to all 16 school principals that are employed by our district for their unwavering dedication, leadership, and commitment to creating positive learning environments. Their tireless efforts inspire students, empower teachers, and strengthen our community. They face daily challenges with resilience and grace, and their vision paves the way for future success. We're greatly appreciative of their leadership and for shaping the future one student at a time.
Okay, so you might have seen this on Facebook, but our 8-12 science-bound students made birthday cake bags for the emergency food box in Marshalltown. The purpose of these bags is to help those in need celebrate without added expense of purchasing extra ingredients. Lynn Diggins and a couple of the science-bound students are here tonight to share more about this effort, so I'll pass over the mic so they can introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Jada Patricio, and I'm a senior at the high school.
I'm Britannia Sina Science, and I'm also a senior in high school and a science-bound scholar, as well as Jada. So, as we said, we are both members of the Science-Bound. We're planning to graduate this spring and then move on and pursue a STEM career in Science-Bound. And so yearly, we do, well, Science-Bound holds a meeting. It's called Countdown to College. And we meet up, whoever can. We bring our families. And then this year was the first year where we held it. I think it was actually the second year where we held it at the Grimes Farm. And then we did several activities. We played bingo, where each thing was sort of a volunteer act, since our motto is
This year theme is Small Acts, Big Impacts.
And yeah, so one of the ones that were published was the birthday cake donations. And yeah. We all got to make, with all the families that wanted to cross off that slot, was we were required to choose a cake flavor and then a frosting flavor, sprinkles, and candles, I believe, and then and a can of soda. Okay, and then like a couple days later, Ms. Diggins needed help carrying out those boxes because we made 30 in total, and so they were heavy. And she needed help to carry some out, so they sent out an email, and whoever wanted to volunteer to help out, would reach back to Ms. Diggins, and it was me and Jada who both got to carry the big boxes. And yeah, that's basically it.
So are these handed out with the emergency food box, like for anybody who has a birthday or just anybody?
Yeah, so anybody who would go to the emergency food bank for food, and they knew like they had a birthday that they wanted to be able to celebrate, then they could ask the ladies there, and the ladies at the emergency food bank knew that they had the bags then, and so with that kit and the way it's made, they don't have to have anything but what's in that bag. They don't need eggs, they don't need oil, any of those extra things that might not be needed, because with the can of soda and the chemistry of cooking, they don't need any of that extra stuff. So it's all non-perishable, and the kids even put like they said, the birthday candles and even little toys in there, so that the families could celebrate.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Any other questions, guys?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Neat idea.
Yeah.
For having us.
Looking at the consent agenda, we've got minutes from the October 7th board meeting. Jackie, any items to note in personnel? Okay. We've got a few interagency agreements and contracts, an amendment with MICA for the district attendance coordinator position, with MICA to reimburse the district for some of the costs of the position. A contract agreement between Heartland Business Systems and the school district in the amount of $42,292.45 for 1 year of support for the Cisco network equipment. An agreement amendment for the Marshtown High School Safe Room project, moving ineligible architect costs to construction eligible costs for the FEMA grant. Tableau software purchase agreement for annual licensing fee, and instructure agreement for the Canvas Certified Educator Program, and a memorandum of understanding between Northwestern College and the school district for early field pre-student teaching clinical or student teaching experience. Are there any questions about any of those items? Hearing none. Open enrollments, there are 2 in and 5 out. Randy, anything to note in bills or the monthly financials? Any questions for Randy about the bills or the monthly financials? The transportation department has a vehicle, I assume that's a small bus,
Yes, small bus.
that they would like to declare as obsolete so they can sell it or get rid of it. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Wise Morales, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Nobody's on the pink sheet, so you kids are up. Xander, you just in time.
Good afternoon, board members. Good afternoon. Okay. So on October 17th, MHS Choir had a concert in the auditorium. The two groups that were involved were MHS Tremble Choir and MHS Concert Choir, and their theme was traveling through time with music, and they performed songs ranging from the 1960s to 2022. And this was directed by Miss Amy O.C. And there were numerous solos, duos, and group performances, and the students did a wonderful job in the concert. Then on October 16th, over 40 MHS student Senate members participated in a workshop to discuss what embrace the lead means to them. They visited the Marshalltown Arts and Civic Center and ended their day with voting for a Bobcat Game Night event. And tomorrow they will have a meeting to discuss about decision and logistics that will be finalized.
Last Friday, we also got our first varsity victory on the new field that was put together last year. We won against Lincoln 28-14. It's led by Jacob Hayes and Davis Ragland. They both had 2 touchdowns apiece. It was also senior night, so the seniors all got recognized in front of the home crowd.
Okay, so last Wednesday, it was the Iowa Alliance Conference meet for cross country at MCC. The varsity boys placed as a team overall 2nd, and the varsity girls placed 6th overall. Other highlights to note is that our team's doing very well this year for the boys, and the girls are continuing to make improvements from last year. And we also have our district meet this Wednesday. This is the first cross-country conference meet at our new course. There's a slight change, which is why the map was included in the backstretch. So that was really good, and there's a lot of good reports. And I know that change was made due to a potential state bid hosting site. So we're looking forward to that and having a great district Wednesday.
Like explained last time, there was also several college visits that have happened recently. Iowa State and UNI are the big ones up there, along with some of the smaller schools like DMAC and Simpson. It's just a big opportunity for the students so they can go experience the local college campuses, and they can get an idea if it's a college that they might want to attend.
So for Halloween, we are doing trunk or treat this Saturday from 5 to 7, and it will be in the MHS parking lot in the Roundhouse, next to the Roundhouse, sorry, and allow organizations to decorate a trunk, and they'll be outside with candy. And I know several organizations, students will be there, like maybe Quiz Bowl, National Honor Society, math team, maybe Alexito, and a couple others should be there. So very good representation of our students in the different clubs.
Are there any questions from you guys?
Will you go back one slide? I missed the date. Saturday. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Kevin. And Kim.
And we do have a representative from the construction company here as well. So if there are questions related to that, we can bring her up too. Well, essentially, the project is substantially complete, has been for a few weeks. Obviously, you're using the project, both projects really. There's several kind of loose ends we continue to work through. We kind of walked through the building with Eric today, identified some things, and so there's a change order tonight we're asking for your approval of. This includes how many items? 16 items. There are still several that we are working back and forth on. One of those, for example, is the connection between the greenhouse and the building. the kit that we initially had specified really wasn't what you wanted. So we ended up with a different type of greenhouse. We got that proposal and it didn't include that connection. So we're still working on kind of finalizing the design to get a price. So we have lots of little ones that are still going to be coming, but this one, which is change order number 6 for 16 items, is $86,452.01. So there's quite a few items on that list.
That does include using the remainder of the contingency balance that was part of the contract amount. So there's $5,000, a little over $5,000 from the contingency allowance that we used as a credit to reduce amount to $86,000.
So of the contingency that we initially identified in the budget, that leaves about $100,000. As you can imagine, there are many items within the building that we're addressing. Now there are several items that are doors that were in really rough shape that are being replaced. We're picking up some maintenance items. There's electrical maintenance items that we found throughout the building during the process. So we will be coming back with 1, maybe 2 more change orders with all those items once we get all that stuff worked through and resolved. But because we came in so far under budget on the bids, more than $2 million under budget on the project, that allowed you some budget to be able to address some of those maintenance items when you had contractors on site to be able to address those efficiently. So we found all different kinds of things that needed to be addressed.
But we're still under our contingency.
We are under the contingency that was initially identified, and we're well under that initial budget. Initially, it was $10.6 million, and the low bid was $8,475,000. And then we had on top of that more contingency dollars that we recommended that you kind of hold in place.
Okay. So even with all the change orders we've had, we're still under budget, the original budget.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments?
Okay. And I understand there's a dedication ceremony coming up.
Yeah, Thursday, October 31st, I believe. We'll have a ribbon cutting at 5 and 4:30. 4:30, and then shortly after that, 4:45 to 6 o'clock will be open house of the high school CTE, so industrial arts, ag, family consumer science classrooms.
So there is still training that needs to go on to train some of the teachers how to use some of the equipment. For example, the fume hoods are one that they're different than anything the teachers have used before, things like that. So that is part of the kind of the whole sequence of closeout that has to take place that's underway. So we'll probably be working through those details for at least the next 2 weeks to a month. Any other questions? Okay.
I guess I noticed that the furniture is in.
The furniture is in, yes.
Are there still a couple items?
There, I believe, might be a few items that were a little behind schedule, but most of it is in.
Okay.
And there's a couple pieces of casework, I believe, that we're still waiting for. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think we've got some items for the
All in?
FCS area.
Alicia says it's all in. Yeah. She's hiding back there.
It's supposed to be more cabinets that ship out. They haven't changed it yet.
End of October. Yeah.
That comes, and then the initial furniture round for the student seating, there was a couple of items that either had been
well from what I noticed. Very nice furniture.
Good.
Did we get the networking up for the science rooms? We were gonna try to network that, right? No. They all have HDMI cables that plug into them. Okay, so they're not gonna be networked for, okay. Chromecast to the front. Yeah, all of them can Chromecast to the front board, to the 86-inch TV that's in the front. Okay. And then each one can collaborate around the screens in the room. Like as they have groups, they can collaborate around those. I thought that the teacher was gonna be able to cast all of the TV screens.
Okay. If there are no other questions, is there a motion to approve change order number 6 in the amount of $86,452.01 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Hernandez, Stanley, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So, we got a crew of Lenahan folks here to talk about our new math materials. Trust me when I say that this presentation probably looks a ton different if we presented in May, but this is what we know now, and we understand the materials as we know them. And so we're doing a lot of learning, we're really digging into them, and so far I can say that I'm getting a lot of positive response from the ideas that we're trying to teach our students, and I think that's the biggest thing. Working through some technicalities on understanding all the materials, but I think we have a great crew that is really dedicated to teaching this material the best way possible. And so I will stop talking, or else I'll just keep talking, and I'll send it all the way down to Lindsay down here, and she's going to talk to us about our Reveal curriculum, which is our universal curriculum for all students.
Yeah. Okay, so we are going to go a couple slides in.
Oh, I should have done this before. Kyle, would you, or somebody, can you introduce
Oh, I apologize.
everybody there at the table with you?
apologize.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay, Kyle Young, I'm the school principal. Would we like, I'll just introduce you all. Liz Jurgensen, our associate principal. Jenny Butler, one of our academic interventionists. Crystal Gassman, our 6th grade math PLC facilitator and teacher. And Lindsay Stanton, one of our instructional coaches.
Thank you.
All right, sorry about that.
So we're going to talk to you about 2 parts of the curriculum. We're starting with core, and then we're going to talk about our small groups curriculum. So the first piece is Reveal, our core curriculum. So if you go to the 4th slide. Yes, right here. So we have the fun experience of not only learning what the elementaries do for the structure of Reveal, but also learning what the upper grades do for Reveal, because it splits at 5, 6. So 5th grade does what K-5 does, and then 6th grade has the routines of 6th and up. So I'm going to talk to you about a little bit of both. So every grade starts out with a number routine. So for example, if my learning targets were about estimating sums and differences of decimals, a number routine that 5th grade would have would be showing up on the board a bunch of differences of whole numbers and saying, how could you figure out about how much these differences would be? And then kids get about 5 minutes to just play with that. Crystal's going to actually take you through a number routine in a little bit. I'll finish kind of talking about the lesson structure. So then the next part is the launch piece of reveal. And that's, again, 5 to 7 minutes in all grades. With that launch piece, it gives students time to talk about math and really think about math in different ways. So in the decimals lesson, the curriculum would have you put up a picture of a cell phone and just have the kids talk about, hey, what do you notice? What do you wonder? And in the next part of the lesson, it would actually get a little bit closer into the picture of the cell phone and have the kids start noticing the decimals of gigabytes and different things of memory, and then talking about why would you need to know about how much this is, the sum of these gigabytes would be. So that's just the first 10 to 15 minutes of the lesson. Then you jump into explore and develop, and this is where we have to kind of start learning about which both systems do. So in 5th grade, it's 20 minutes every day. And in 6th grade, they do about 5 to 20 minutes of explore on day 1 and on day 2. So 6th grade, they're doing about 1 lesson every 2 days. And in 5th grade, we're doing 1 lesson every single day. So in the explore and develop section, this is where you're starting to get the meat of the lesson. There's a little bit of modeling there and talking through. And we start to, in 5th grade, have some teacher choice, where there's 2 different versions of the lesson. We can think about what our class needs. One of the versions of the lesson is the guided exploration, and it's a lot of teacher talk. The other portion of the lesson that we could do is the activity-based exploration, and that one is talking the kids through in partners and having them kind of explore the math. So in the decimal lesson I was telling you about, we noticed as a team that the guided exploration only has them do 1 problem with rounding and estimating, but the activity base has them do it 5 times and really working with the math 5 times. And we knew rounding is still something that's difficult for 5th graders, so we decided to do the activity-based lesson with that. So that brings you into about 30 minutes of the lesson. We have about an hour every day. So then you get to the practice and reflect. And this is what probably in your head you think about with math, of the math workbook, the practice in the workbook, and a math type worksheet. A lot of times that's what that piece looks like. For us in 5th grade, that's 10 minutes of the lesson max. And they also have that in 6th grade and above. For 5th grade, then we go into a daily assessment, which is an exit ticket, and it's always 3 problems. Those 3 problems tell us what we're going to do in the differentiate, which is the end of the lesson. If you get 1 problem correct or 0 problems correct, you go into the reteaching groups with your teachers, and there's 2 different sections planned for the teacher there that they could use in a small group. If you get 2 or 3 questions correct, you can go into the proficient group, and there's 4 different activities. Some are online, some are on a worksheet. The teacher really can choose what's best for that group of kids. And then there's also an extensions, and there's always 2 different activities there if you got all of the questions correct. That has been a big management piece for us because it's all happening in 1 lesson. And so that exit ticket, you have to teach the kids which section they're going to on the spot, because that's happening in the course of 60 minutes. And then that's where the differentiates piece is. So Crystal's actually going to have you do some math. I'm going to let you give directions.
All right, next slide. Oh, they're in the baggie. She's got the bag. Okay, so we have a number routine. 1 more slide. This is called, in the 6th grade, it's called Give Me 5. So you've got 5 blue numbers, and you've got 1 red number. So the goal, your objective is you have to use all 5 of the numbers that are blue. You can use any operation, add, subtract, multiply, divide, okay? And the end result has to be 12.
You have to use all the numbers in blue?
All of the numbers in blue. You can add, subtract, multiply, divide, all 4, whatever you want to do. You can team up. We're going to see who can do it the fastest. We only have about 2 minutes. So, does everybody understand what to do?
Yeah. Do they have to be in that order?
No.
No.
You have to use all the numbers in blue.
Any order,
You have
just
to use
using.
all 5 numbers in any order. It doesn't matter the order.
So take them out of order, mix it around, and add, subtract, multiply, divide, but you have to have 12 for your product, for your end product.
My goodness.
You ready? Go.
Oh, you didn't get a word? Oh, okay.
Should we take pictures
Market
right
it.
now? I have my phone.
See if the high schoolers back there, they were jumping in.
They
were.
I bet Xander's already got it.
You did it? Oh, of course you did it already.
Randy's got it.
Of course, Red Belt got it.
Of course, Randy's
Hey, you know what? If you want to have confidence in the district,
Yeah, Randy.
Nope, I got to 10.
I got a reputation uphold. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Randy's my partner.
How long did it take?
This is a group project. There you go.
20 seconds. Yes, I know. Guys, do it again.
15 seconds
Did
left.
I get it right, Randy?
We have someone back here saying, yep, he's done. Caleb?
I don't know.
Caleb says he's done. Randy's done.
Oh, you went like.
Huh?
You went. Yeah.
I
Look at you.
I think Dr. Schutte has it too.
I don't have it. I
We
keep
only have
trying
about
to.
5 minutes to do this activity, so, you know,
wasn't
it's
going
gotta go.
for I was just going
Look at his. He went complex.
About 2 minutes for you guys, because, you know, whatever time it was,
How long
but
does the students have though?
Good.
about 5, and then they go, I have them go put their answer up on the board, whiteboard, and then we can check it all together.
And are they working in groups or are they working?
2 to 3.
Oh, 2 to 3.
Yeah. So they hated this to start with, but now they're like, gosh, it's gonna go. So they love it.
All right.
Good? All right, who's gonna share their answer?
Randy is.
Randy's.
Randy.
Okay, yeah. What do we got?
I did the super simple one, so 6 plus 4 plus 3 plus 4 minus 5 equals 12.
You said one of you got it back here? No? Anybody else get it? The
Shauna
kids
got
don't
it.
have much
Shauna,
more
you got
time than you did.
Is that what you
so
did?
They gotta get it fast. Yes. Got it? All right.
That's what they're.
24.
6 times
Oh.
4 minus 3 plus 4 plus 5.
That works. Did you get it? No? Anybody else? You're
I
smarter
copied.
than the average 6th grader.
I copied off there and
Yay.
I'll pick up your whiteboards and markers
I
afterwards.
started doing
Yeah.
things too, and then I was like, I don't like that. Doesn't.
All right.
I know, I'm like, okay, which one's in?
Do you want me to talk about the next couple of slides? Sure. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes, I should talk about these. So
You can,
what,
if you one.
okay. So our students so far are liking this for a few reasons. Sometimes kids just like math. So really they're just liking the math. Our 6th graders really are liking the images. They say that the visuals are a lot better. And then it's more hands-on, a lot of the math is. So that's what our students are saying. And then you can read on the next slide what a couple of our math teachers are saying. So, next slide. Oh, that was it. That was just
All right. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about number worlds, and I have Jenny over here who's going to correct me when I make any egregious mistakes talking about this, because she is now having the opportunity to teach this. This part of the program was really big for our school in particular, because we've had a program of academic intervention for quite a while. And the thing that we've always been searching for is a really good diagnostic, or a way to determine. We knew what kids were struggling in math. We wanted to know specifically what skills we needed to teach and how to best group them. And it sounds like this would be something that's everywhere, and it's not. And we've been searching for a really long time to have a really effective one. And so we're excited about this. We're excited about the fact that we get some pretty robust progress monitoring opportunities with this. So Number Worlds is used for intervention for students who might not be successful at grade level in math. We use this not only in our academic intervention, but for our general education students, but also for students who have a math goal on their IEP as well. So Number Worlds gives us this diagnostic, places students in levels and the levels run from A to J, I think. And for the most part, students in our building are kind of in that D through F level. And so students who are slightly below grade level and need a boost. And so what we're excited about is that there's a lot of hands-on. I can skip to a couple slides here, I think. Go down one. Yeah, that's kind of what I was just talking about. So this slide, and I love, and I think Tanya was the one that maybe added this text on this slide of pictures with 1,000 words, and I should not be speaking 1,000 words on this. So it's just a reminder, just let the picture talk. But this is a picture from Jenny's room, if I'm, okay, yeah.
Yep.
And so talk to us a little bit, Jenny, about what's happening in this picture, what kind of activity the student's doing.
So in this picture, we were doing a lot with like trading. So if there's 10 ones and we have stuff like that paper that has the little circles, like if it's filled all the way up to the thermometer, then they need to move that to the tens place. And that's something a lot of like this group I work with is a lot of ELL students also. And so during that time, I feel like those manipulatives and those pictures and them able to do the hands-on is really important. And we have, basically every day we have an like kind of a warm-up we do, kind of like you were talking, like it relates to something in real life. Like we were looking at a football field and talking about how that could be fractions and just kind of trying to bring it in. But yeah, in this picture, she's just working on actually like the big long ones are 10, so like actually physically moving it, and the manipulatives have been really helpful for our kids.
So when I talked at the start of this, we talked a little bit about the fact that we're learning these materials and we're learning how to utilize them. One of the things that this picture also says is you look back there and you see those tubs full of manipulatives that we're learning how to utilize and the different activities that we're working through. So like I said, a year from now we're gonna have a totally different understanding of what all of this entails, but I'm excited that we're digging into it and going for it. We can go to the next slide. Actually, well, that's fine. One thing also I want to mention is not only do we have this program, but we also added on, and you guys added on an Alex addition to this. And what Alex is a personalized learning platform that provides, I mean, it is really adaptive to what students' needs, provides instruction based on what students are ready for. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's not just a progression, it identifies the skills that the students are ready to tackle and ready to take on. And so all of our students have access to Alex and they utilize that. And Number Worlds has an adaptive program called Building Blocks as well, that does a similar thing. It's different visually, but it is also an adaptive program to support and supplement instruction. And so we're really excited to get that up and running too. This is an activity where students are trying to figure out what a prime number is and seeing it visually represented. And I think one of the things that this student kind of speaks to is just the fact that they like being able to learn this in a small group. They like being able to work closely with their teacher and get a chance to get hands-on with the math and be able to have that tactile experience with it as well. I think we can go to one more slide here. There's another picture here. And another aspect of Number Worlds is that there are a lot of opportunities for students to participate in some game-style activities. It's a board game-style activity where students are able to demonstrate their math skills and engage in a little friendly competition. And some of the feedback we've gotten so far is that students are appreciating the fun of these activities and appreciate, these two kids are recognizing that that looks different than what we were doing in 5th grade, and they're liking it so far. Anything else that I need to add about Number Worlds, Jenny?
Just the assessments, I guess, you briefly mentioned, but like each unit even has a pre and a post assessment. We have not had a good way to, like a good program or good assessments. We've like tried many different things in the last few years, and this is at least all of our data is in one place, and then I can see how students are doing. And like today I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, this is a skill we need to go back and, it's really helpful to have that.
The platform is really beneficial for data analysis as well. Like we talked about that time at the end of the core math lesson where we're having to quickly differentiate and determine that. Well, that CFA data, that assessment data is done online, and it gives that teacher instant availability to see where those groups are, and those students know where they need to go as well.
It's great for the students right away. So the students get immediate feedback right away of if I got it right, and then they can even see the answers if they got it wrong.
Yeah. And so that helps keep the pace of the programming going pretty quickly. Questions that we can help answer on this or figure out the answers for?
You said some of the kids are going to have access to the program at home?
They can do Alex
or building blocks.
Building blocks.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, and we found that, kids are, as we have 2 personalized learning platforms for math at this point, some kids, like the puzzles of STMath and have appreciated that and can still do that. The thing about Alex is that it gives some more instruction and can give it in multiple languages as well, so that if a kid is doing that on their own and they need help for it, there is an instruction piece for them.
So have you seen a difference, like parent-teacher conference just ended this month, so did you see some, if not higher percentage, but maybe engagement more for math?
It's hard to quantify that at this point.
Too early.
It's too early.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that, if you notice, the items we're highlighting here is pretty anecdotal in like perception data, but it'll be curious to see how that translates, because there's definitely high quality things happening in our math classrooms. So
I would say the rigor.
Yeah.
The rigor is greatly increased from Go Math.
And you got to be on your game though. You got to be very well paced to get it. And so that's some learning, and there's some stamina build up almost from our instructional piece, because you have to do things differently than you've done them before. And there's time we have to be mindful of the time it's going to take our teachers to be able to feel like they can implement fully and with fidelity, because I have to understand that they're learning this stuff right with the students right now. I mean, the concepts are still math concepts, and we've taught them for a little while, but they're structures.
Yeah, that's partly management and structures, but that's also our students aren't used to this format either.
Yeah.
So when we start to get students in the next couple of years that are used to the pace and format, then that also makes the teacher's job easier.
Yep. But overall, good things.
Are you seeing positive feedback from teachers then?
And growing pains.
Okay.
I mean, there's
both.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough bringing in a brand new curriculum like that, and it is very, very different than what we've worked with before. It's fun to have the challenge, but the pace is the biggest thing for us, is getting that in play. Make sure we're getting all those elements in there.
Yeah, a lot of our conversations right now are on what's this look like in your classroom? I'm having trouble with this. How is it working in your classroom? Okay, I'm going to try that. So the collaboration that our teachers are already so good at Lenahan is really helping with some of those growing pains, I would say.
And I think the idea is we want to be able to say, yes, we're doing all these things. And if we're struggling with that, we want to be able to learn how to make sure we are doing everything in that lesson.
Shauna, do you know, are the elementaries having similar situation with just trying to get everyone on pacing?
Welcome.
Hi, guys. Yes, and I'd say that's pretty common, even within like CKLA on the literacy side. I think pacing can be a challenge, but especially with a new curriculum. And when it's rigorous, it can feel like you have to slow down to go fast in some ways with kids when they're learning new behaviors. I was just thinking back to SIAC last year. I don't remember who was on that with me, but we talked about what would we want to see in a math curriculum. And I feel like what you guys have just shared is almost identical to what our parents were sharing. They envisioned their kids doing with math. So it's really exciting to hear that what the kids are doing in the mathematical classroom are practices as well as meeting standards, the content standards. And that does take time to change those behaviors as a teacher as well. So it's very exciting and very, very new. We just did on October 14th the training for Alex, the personalized learning platform. So we are just still trying to figure it all out.
But I would say to the fact that Alex was brand new, and we didn't even add a slide about it in here because it was so brand new, but I was like, we can definitely talk about it. I had a chance to I was in 3 5th grade rooms last week and a 6th grade room when they were doing that. I got a chance to lead them and watch them while they were doing it. And the kids know the routine for that right now and know how to, like, I was working with a student and there was definitely a language barrier between me and the student. And the student sitting next to that student was able to help that student identify where to find the instruction piece to help that student. And we were able to get the concept done, but that student also said, hey, if you need to learn more, there's some stuff right here we can work through. And so the kids are able to identify where those resources are and where those functions are within the program too. So it's been good. And they're super excited when they get their little piece of pie.
It's called the Alex Pie, and
Yeah.
it's all different colors, and it
So
shows
it's like a
all the
Trivial
different
Pursuit
standards
thing.
and just keeps filling in and filling in and filling in the more that they have done on their assessments from Alex, and then the more problems they've answered from Alex. So it's kind of cool to see all the different standards they've covered.
Oh.
Oh my.
So for Alex, something that's new with this personalized learning platform that we've not had before is like I don't know what they call them, the checks or like a quiz or some sort of assessment that they do after they've worked within Alex for a while. So it actually can bump them ahead. So let's say they took their placement assessment and they missed a question or something and they weren't really placed in the right knowledge base. When they do that next check, it can actually move them ahead in the program.
There's a more robust piece of computer learning that's within this program that helps it make it more adaptive to the students, for sure. Yeah.
Gives them a bit of incentive.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other questions, guys?
We'll look forward to seeing it in action.
Yeah. Next week, next Wednesday. All right, sounds good, guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not going to make you do any more.
Oh, thank you.
Let me.
Okay, board policies.
Year two.
Yeah, we got 4 policies coming back for amendment. 104 E3 harassment disposition of complaint form. 50103 enrollment and compulsory attendance. 50103 R1 attendance requirements. 50103 R2 attendance regulations. These were changed and presented to you at the last meeting. I'd recommend approval of these 4 amendments and waiving the second reading.
Are there any questions? And the enrollment attendance ones, those were approved on a temporary basis.
Correct.
Right.
Emergency.
Yep. Is there a motion to amend 104E3, 50103, 50103R1, 50103R2, and waive the second reading?
So move.
Second.
Morales, Wise. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0.
Then we had 2 policies that are recommended for deletion. 501.10 truancy and excused absences. 501.11 chronic absenteeism and truancy. Recommend deleting those 2 policies and waiving the second reading.
Any questions? Then is there a motion to delete 50110 and 50111?
So moved.
Second.
Stanley Hernandez, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 6-0. Initial review, I think, was you, Zach.
So I think we have 3 or 4 of them here. All pretty simple changes. On 106, we just want to update the HR contact information and mark it as reviewed. Policy number 900, regarding community relations, we want to add just a little bit of detail information in the last paragraph about how we communicate to the community. It'd be the first reading to amend. And then 901, we're just marking as review with no changes. I believe there's one more.
102 R1.
Yes.
That was
And I
just
think
an
that was just to
updating.
update the contact.
Yes,
Looks like it.
correct.
Yep.
HR director contact. Any questions?
So Mark reviewed with the exception of the one that needs to come back? Is that what you're,
That is correct.
900.
900?
900.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Zach. 900 is coming back for a first reading. The other 3 are reviewed. Abby, anything you want to share communications-wise?
So we have 2 upcoming Miller Middle School community meetings. One is on Wednesday, October 23rd at 5 p.m. And then the second is on Tuesday, October 29th at 5 p.m. It's a great opportunity to learn more about the bond referendum before going to the polls, casting their ballot. Great option to ask questions to architects, to Randy, figure out the financial picture, just really getting a good understanding before heading to the polls and getting a tour of the building as well. So just wanted to throw that out there.
How much, sorry, Abby, how much community involvement have you seen in the sessions that you've held up till this point?
Last
good number of-
communication with Kristen and Dave, I think we've had pretty close to like 30 people take advantage of that. Some of them have higher numbers, some of them lower. But I think now That was like an email 2 weeks ago, so it might have doubled at this point, so.
But it seems like there's not a lot of engagement, just a little bit, based on the total community.
There one night after volleyball practice, and I think there were like 11 to 12 people on the tour.
Okay.
So, and I've also seen people then share out on Facebook, if you haven't done this and you're wondering, you should definitely do it. So I think even one person, if they talk to 10 people about it, makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest area where I've seen a lot of engagement is just with her posts, really encouraging people to go to the informational website, learning those details, watching that great video of Jeff Braddock pointing out some of the areas of the building to improve upon, and then tax calculator as well, just really understanding where the tax impact is. I think that's kind of where things have been building. I've noticed as well with the renderings that we've put out, those are some of the most highly engaged posts that, you know, our community has really taken on to sharing out their opinion as well. So, yeah.
So you're seeing. So you're seeing good activity, hit rate, lots of volume in some of those other areas from the website?
Yeah. And then just, you know, conversations and passing a lot of that qualitative data into it, not quantitative, which I wish there was a little bit more analytics going into it. I know some of what we could potentially look into and just asking who we're working with, Donovan Group, is how often people are clicking on the link, exploring the website, how long do they stay on certain portions of the website, really gathering that information within itself. But using our social media analytics, going from what was first video came out with Jeff Braddock, I think that got 80 shares with it. That was really the big kickoff for our informational campaign. And then from there, there's just certain posts that hit a little bit different with our community. I always think informational items, you can't really predict it. You can just try to understand where the community is at and serve the need of, we need to understand or educate our community in these regards. And so that's kind of where we've been playing out of, let's push out this content, or making sure that we're speaking to this area through whether that be editorial or setting up a meeting or doing the community tours as well.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Okay.
Thanks, Abby. Reminders, Sarah's got first initial review policies for the November 4th meeting. Marshtown Virtual Academy looks like is scheduled to present to the board at that meeting. Committee reports. I can tell you the Auditorium Foundation Committee met last week. It was the annual meeting, so with the elected officers, discussion about improvements that have taken place over the summer and will be taking place during the school year, and they're planning for the 40th year of the auditorium, which would be next year. They're going to have a big deal.
Fundraising event.
Yep. I don't know if any other committees met since our last meeting. None that I'm on.
Yeah.
Okay. Any items for a future board agenda? What have we done this evening to improve education for the students in Marshalltown?
It was nice to hear about the math curriculum, how it's going and learning, and For a good start, at least.
Yeah. Your first opportunity to kind of hear a little bit about that brand-new math curriculum
That we invested in.
that well, the state
Or
paid.
the state.
The state paid
The state paid for
a
it.
lot of money for,
Yeah.
so.
I know my children really like it. So, they really like it. So, yeah.
I liked from the science-bound group, just that small acts, big impacts, and just thinking that way about what you can do, all the little things you can do, and how those things add up. And I liked it. So the other thing is, I went to that student senate session, the Lead the Way workshop. Theron was there, or Embrace the Lead, yeah, workshop, and it was just interesting watching the kids and how they interacted with each other and how they tried to come up with what they thought embrace the lead meant to them and how they were going to be able to, I guess, push something forward that way. Almost all the things that got voted on were very social activities for the students. So it was kind of interesting just listening to their conversations and hearing some of the different activities that they proposed.
And kind of just adding to that, it was really exciting to receive all the ideas that our student senate came up with. Their idea of receiving the text from Aqui and Amber. I was unable to be there that day due to ISPRA fall conference. But ultimately what that workshop, how it played out was exactly how Amber and our discussions thinking about how do we take Embrace the Lead to the next level. This is exactly how we pictured it. And I'm excited to see how they take their idea and really magnify it into, something completely their own picture, their own way of thinking, their own definition and spin on it.
And there were some other ideas that came out of that they didn't pick that I think we can use ourselves moving, that not through Student Senate moving forward.
Yeah. And I would love for that group at some point to just have a presentation for you all and how that workshop played out. Again, totally up to you guys if you would like to hear more information and how that is proceeding.
Thanks again, Abby. Okay, if there's nothing else, I would just remind everybody to come out to Miller Middle School Wednesday or next Tuesday. Bring a friend or two. Come out to the high school for the CTE ribbon cutting open house. Bring a friend or two. Take a look at all the amazing things that we have going on there.
Extra points if you wear a Halloween costume.
Sure. I don't know what the points are going towards, but absolutely. You can rack up as many points as you want to. Okay. Motion to adjourn from anybody?
Second.
Wise Hernandez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. We're adjourned. This